I am the president of Satake Multimix. Let me introduce our newly developed wet classifier, i-Classifier, today. This is a precise wet classifier handling 0.5 to 20 microns fine powder. The series have laboratory model to production scale model. It is categorized in advanced centrifugal wet classifier. i-Classifier has been awarded as Outstanding Technological Development Award in 2022 in Japan. When we received an inquiry of wet classification, the biggest objectives are the following two. First, remove large or fine particles during dispersing process or metal foreign articles to be removed, as metal powder is collected with coarse light powder. And dedusting below 1 micron, for environmental regulation, is the current trend. Second, mono-disperse and produce narrow particle size by removing fine and coarse particles from air-classified powder. In dry system, agglomerated particles are difficult to be disintegrated. Particles can be easily disintegrated in liquid. Recently, submicron, below 1 micron, particles should be avoided in working and living area. For this purpose, i-Classifier is used for producing all above 1 micron powder in wet process. There are many problems in conventional wet classification method. Water centrifuge has trade-off of yield and separation efficiency. Also, it is difficult to run in high concentration. Wet sieve or filtration is easy to be clogged in the mesh openings. Also, it is difficult to sieve 5 microns or below powder. Water elutriation, too low throughput makes processing time extremely long and the yield is low. These systems cannot fully utilize the wet system advantage, which is disintegration is easy with liquid. Works with a wide range of materials such as semiconductor materials, electronic materials, abrasives, polishing material, secondary battery material, liquid chromatography, LC, columns, separating agents, sputtering targets, catalytic particles. I will introduce actual examples using i-Classifier. Polymer 2 to 40 microns, fused silica 0.8 to 15 microns, metal powder 0.4 to 9 microns. Precision level of classification could vary depending on particle shape. Easily adjustable classification cut point is a great feature. By changing rotor speed and slurry flow rate, cut point can be easily adjusted. Please view this graph. This shows how the classification condition affects the cut point and classified particle size. These are real results. Filler for semiconductor encapsulants. This is fused silica. Submicron fine particles sticking to around big particles are beautifully removed from a 3 microns diameter sphere. Mono-disperse example. These are another real result. Same fused silica case, but this time coarse particles are removed and uniform narrow particle size distribution powder is collected. Real results continue. This graph shows the particle size curve for the previous example. 90%, by volume, or more particles are between 1.5 and 4.5 microns, only within 3 microns, are collected after coarse, fine removing process using i-Classifier. This is another real result. Metal powder wet classification data are shown. Metal powder is high dense material, which could shift cut point finer, such as 0.4 to 9 microns. i-Classifier has the following two important advantages. First, precision cut point control. Can realize very high yield, and can produce very narrow width monodisperse particles. Second, wet mixture advantages. Can minimize damage to particles, and can make the system contamination less, and creates no dust, which makes total system safe. i-Classifier system consists of classifier main unit, slurry feeder, slurry tanks, feed, coarse, fine, pumps and control panel. By adjusting the rotor speed of US patented classifier wheel and slurry flow rate, cut point is determined and optimized. Satake i-Classifier has 3 series: laboratory model, pilot model and production model. These can be scaled up from laboratory model. However, 3 models are all available at Satake in Japan. The test with the actual model is possible in Japan. At Satake's laboratory in Japan, various analysis can be served with wet classification test, particle size distribution, observation by microscope, etc. Classification performance report will be submitted after the test. Classification good or bad, yield, processing speed. Satake i-Classifier has 3 series: laboratory model, pilot model and production model. These can be scaled up from laboratory model. However, 3 models are all available at Satake in Japan. The test with the actual model is possible in Japan. Here are voices from our clients. Ideal classification has been achieved. I have never been experienced with such an excellent technology before. Great solution. These are more voices. CV, coefficient of variation, of classified middle fraction can be lower than 10%. Excellent. Monodispersed particles can be classified, produced, and collected. Surface damage of particles can be minimized. Foreign articles can be removed without using filter or with fewer load. Improve yield from dry process, for example, 50% from 20%. Improve throughput rate from other wet process, for example, 20 times. Satake's i-Classifier is a revolutionary addition to your classifying workflow. We're here to solve your classifying problems and leave you with pure and precise output. We promise to devote ourselves to our clients' production and development of value-added products by proposing high-performance wet classifier. Our headquarters is in Japan. Please contact us for further information. Sales representatives are welcome.